Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's guide on how you can watch Bulls versus Ulster live on a free channel this weekend. The URC is back and a couple of very interesting games. Sharks versus Scarlets and Bulls versus Ulster. Two games I got my eyes on because neither of the South African sides can afford to slip up. And Bulls versus Ulster away is a huge task. And if they do slip up, then they genuinely could be at risk of getting knocked out of the top eight and not making Champions Cup rugby next season. So it's a game you don't want to miss. And the big question is, how can I watch the action? Well, you can watch this game, Stormers versus Leinster, as well as Scarlets versus Sharks, as well as actually the entire Rugby World Cup for free on a free channel. If you're in the UK, or if you're outside the UK, you can still watch it for free using a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN. Link in the description. We've got a step-by-step guide on how you can watch this match. We've got videos up every week in terms of how you can watch various action from around the world using ExpressVPN. So what you're going to do is you're going to download ExpressVPN, link in the description. It's going to come up like this. And we're going to connect to an Irish server. So see those three little dots over there? That's going to pull up a whole bunch of locations. You're going to go to Ireland. You're going to turn it on. The reason we're going to turn it on is because without it, this is what the RTE website's going to look like. But we are then going to go and turn it on. And as you can see, my VPN is busy connecting. And we are now going to refresh this. Now, sometimes you might have to refresh this once or twice. Sometimes you might even need to close your browser, get down, or try a different browser. But it will work. So first, we're going to make sure you are connected to an Ireland location. And then, in theory, you're going to press play. And it'll start working. So, as I said, it does take a few minutes. But there we go. That's all we need. So this just adds stuff like that. But as you can see, you wouldn't even got to this stage had we not been connected to a VPN. So it is literally that simple. That's all you got to do. You got to download ExpressVPN, connect to an Ireland server, and bang, you can start watching all the action live on RTE2. You don't even have to log in or anything like that. You don't need credit card details. It's literally as easy as that. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. But apart from that, there is a step-by-step guide in the description. Just follow that with all the links you need, and you'll be able to watch the action live. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's Ulster versus Bulls preview. Big game. Dave Vermeulen captaining his former side, a good Bulls side and desperate Bulls side. And the reason I say it's desperate is because this Bulls side are a genuine potential to actually crash out of the URC in terms of not making the playoffs, in terms of not making the Champions Cup next season if they can't turn around their current losing streak. And it's not just the URC losing streak. There seems to be issues across the union, and you know the phrase was always, winning's a habit, but so is losing. I kind of feel that at the moment the Bulls are in a bit of a losing habit that they need to kick, and it's a massive opportunity for them away in Belfast against Ulster, a decent Ulster side as well, to try and just kickstart their season. If they don't, I think they could be in genuine trouble. I think they could really be at risk of missing the top eight. That loss to the Lions was a disaster for them. They lose here, and they've got I think 2 more games after this. Serious trouble will be awaiting. So before we look at the two sides and then sort of look at some of the matchups and kind of what we can expect out of this match, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We'll start with the home side, which is Ulster, and this is how they will line up. Now, the big thing for South African fans, Dwayne Vermeulen captaining this side in the number 8 jersey. But if you look across this side, it's a good side. I'm missing a couple of Irish players who, some of them are still, celebrating. Some of them are back into the side, but it is an Ulster side, and it's an Ulster side which I thought bullied the Sharks quite well a couple of weeks ago. So you've got Andrew Warwick, Tom Stewart, Jeff Tuamaga-Allen. I was quite impressed with both props actually against the Sharks a couple of weeks ago in that catch-up match. Kieran Treadwell, Irish international, next to Sam Carter. It's a decent tight 5, and I think the Bulls type 5 also needs to sort of step up. At the end of the day, we kind of know the Bulls. We always think about Bulls players as players who are very physical, who like to dominate the gain line, who really like to impose themselves. This Bulls pack needs to start doing that. David McCann, Nick Timoney, I'm a massive Nick Timoney fan, and Dwayne Ferrin is the loose trio, so it's a solid pack. And if you can get a good pack performance going, there's a lot of these players in the back line, which I think can give them a lot of trouble. Nathan Doku, I think, is a future Irish star. Next to Billy Burns, who does have international experience. You then got Jacob Stockdale, Rob Gallicoon, and Mike Lowry as the back three. They'll cause the Bulls back three plenty of issues. And I think that should be quite an interesting matchup, actually. Back three on back three. Lots of pace, lots of excitement, lots of X factor. Then in the midfield, you've got Stuart Moore and James Hume. Again, two very solid centres. Also a very big James Hume fan. Off the bench, you've got Andrew O'Sullivan and Milisinovic. It's a good front row. Milisinovic played plenty in international game. Then O'Connor, Sheridan, Cooney. Big John Cooney fan. I think he's just a very complete scrum off. Marcus Rea and Apostle White. So it's a good Ulster side, and it's not by no means a B team. They're missing a couple of players, of course, but I wouldn't call it a B team Ulster side. For the Bulls, they've gone as strong as they can, can't they? But it's not also a dissimilar team to the one that lost to the Western Province last week in the Currie Cup. So I wouldn't say it's a team full of confidence right now. So if we start in the front row, Kairos Steenekamp behind Kabula, Morne Smith, pretty standard. Ruben Vermaak partnering as captain, Ruben Nokia. Not too many changes, not too much unexpected news in that sort of tight five. Marcus Starr and Carl Brink, Albert Lowe. It's actually a very settled pack. I think if there's a final tomorrow, apart from maybe Jacques Duplessis coming in at 4, that would be your pack. Zach Bergen next to Chris Smith. Zach Bergen, a little bit of pressure. He's played very well over the last couple of years, which is why he got the move to the Bulls and become a regular Bulls starter, but kind of struggled in the last couple of games. The big boost for them is the fact that Kanan Moody and Kirkley Aronsar are back into the side. They are joined in David Creel in that back three. No Spoon Corsi. He was actually left behind in South Africa. And then Harold Forster, Cornel Hendricks in the centre. I think it's a good centre pairing. Cornel Hendricks, probably needs to try and create a bit of, but I think Harold Forster is someone who when he's on song will create a lot, but on his left, right shoulder, carries, kicks in behind. He's quite a versatile inside centre that likes to sort of create doubt in the opposition defence. Then off the bench, plenty of experience, the likes of Bismarck Duplessis, next to the youngsters of the Peter Manton Zima and Francois Klopper. Then we've got Janko Swanepoel, WJ Steenkamp, Ambrose Pierre, Morne Steyn, and Stedman Khan. So a nice blend of experience and youth. Morne Steyn, Bismarck Duplessis, those two players are players that they really need to rely on, and they need to lean on their experience. Times are tough for the Bulls at the moment. You can't deny that they're not. And when times are tough, you've got to look at your big players, your big names, your players that have been there, that have done that, have been in these situations, and just get a boost out of them. And your likes of Bismarck, Morne Steyn, Ambrose Pierre, even who's played Springbok rugby, they need that kind of boost and a calm head coming in the second half, and either seeing out a job or trying to mount back a little bit of a comeback. If this Bulls side lose this game, their season could be in serious trouble. It's a must-win game at the end of the day, and they can't afford to let it slip. So lots of pressure on them. Playing away could be very interesting and difficult conditions. We wait to sort of see what the weather will be like this weekend. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's guide on how you can watch Bulls versus Ulster live on a free channel this weekend. The URC is back and a couple of very interesting games. Sharks versus Scarlets and Bulls versus Ulster. 2 games I got my eyes on because neither of the South African sides can afford to slip up. And Bulls versus Ulster away is a huge task. And if they do slip up, then they genuinely could be at risk of getting knocked out of the top 8 and not making Champions Cup rugby next season. So it's a game you don't want to miss. And the big question is, how can I watch the action? Well, you can watch this game, Stormers versus Leinster, as well as Scarlets versus Sharks, as well as actually the entire Rugby World Cup for free on a free channel. If you're in the UK, or if you're outside the UK, you can still watch it for free using a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN. Link in the description. We've got a step-by-step guide on how you can watch this match. We've got videos up every week in terms of how you can watch various action from around the world using ExpressVPN. So what you're going to do is you're going to download ExpressVPN, link in the description. It's going to come up like this. And we're going to connect to an Irish server. So see those 3 little dots over there? That's going to pull up a whole bunch of locations. You're going to go to Ireland. You're going to turn it on. The reason we're going to turn it on is because without it, this is what the RTE website is going to look like. But we are then going to go and turn it on. And as you can see, my VPN is busy connecting. And we are now going to refresh this. Now, sometimes you might have to refresh this once or twice. Sometimes you might even need to close your browser, get down, or try a different browser. But it will work. So first, we're going to make sure you are connected to an island location. And then, in theory, you're going to press play, and it'll start working. So it does take a few minutes, but there we go. That's all we need. So let's just add stuff like that. But as you can see, you wouldn't even got to the stage had we not been connected to a VPN. So it is literally that simple. That's all you got to do. You got to download ExpressVPN, connect to an island server, and bang, you can start watching all the action live on RTE2. You don't even have to log in or anything like that. You don't need credit card details. It's literally as easy as that. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. But apart from that, there is a step-by-step guide in the description. Just follow that with all the links you need, and you'll be able to watch the action live. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon.
Welcome everyone to the Forever Sports coverage of the Ulster vs Bulls game. I'm Riza. I'm so glad to be here today, and hope you guys enjoy the stream. Please bear with me. It is my first one that I'm doing as we cover for Stevie P, who's taking a very well-deserved break, which we're very happy for him about. And yeah, so let's have some fun. Let's chat about this game. It's already been an action-packed weekend of some rugby going on here, and we've got some huge results that have come in, which we'll cover shortly. But yeah, let's have some fun, guys. Jump into the chat. Let me know how it's going. Let me know if you have any questions. Very happy to deal with all of them. But jeez, guys, let's just have a little chat about the results that have come in before we get onto this Bulls team. Already a Munster loss to Glasgow Warriors. I did call it on the fan forum. Not many agreed with me going with the Munster side, but yeah, 38-26 to Glasgow Warriors, which is very cool for them. I think that's a huge result. And yeah, onwards and upwards for the Warriors. Looks like the Sharks have choked again. There's no surprise there, to be very honest with everyone. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. I don't know. The Sharks have just, jeez. I mean, what a joke, honestly. Truly a little bit pathetic, to be very honest. And with all the investment that's going on there, I'm sure those sponsors and those investors are not happy with what's going on at the Sharks at the moment. To lose 32-20 to a Scarlets team that's sitting in the bottom four, I believe. Yeah, let me just check quickly. Yep, 13th out of 16 teams in URC. It's dismal. And really bad for the Sharks season, who now are sitting currently in 8th. The gap between them and the Bulls might just widen up if the Bulls manage to pull one off today. And so, yeah, and unfortunately, barring the Stormers, it's looking like a bit of a shit show at the moment for our local boys, which is really sad and a pity. Yeah, guys, let me know what you thought about that. Let's see what we got here for the starting lineups for today. Ulster sitting in with Andrew Warwick, Tom Stewart, Jeff Tamaga-Allen, Kieran Treadwell, Sam Carter, David McCann, Nick Timoti, Dwayne Vermeulen, our boy, a captain of course, Nathan Dirk, Billy Burns, Jacob Stockdale, Stuart Moore, James Hume, Rob Baluquin, I'm not actually too sure how he's supposed to pronounce his name, but my bad, and Mike Lowry to finish it off. So pretty decent Ulster side. A couple of changes. Obviously, they're not sitting with the full strength team, I would say. I do think the Bulls are sitting with probably in a better position than they are. And as you look at this team here, it's stacked with names that we all know and love. Curtly Orense, Kanan Moody makes his return, Cornel Hendricks, Harold Forster, David Creel, Chris Smith, who is in some fine form, which we'll get onto in a moment, Zach Berger, Ulrich Lowe, Kyle Brink, Marco van Staden, Ruan Okia, who captains today, Ruan van Mark, Morne Smith, Johanna Krobler, and Gerard Steenkamp. Obviously, big names on the bench as well. We've got Bismarck Duplessis, Sapue Mantanzima, Francois Klopper, Janko Swanepoel, WJ Steenkamp, Embrace Papier, of course, Morne Steyn, boy, and Stedman Kuntz. So, a very stacked looking team at the moment. So there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that the Bulls need this win. But unfortunately for them, we don't have much going in their favor at the moment. History would tell us that Ulster should be coming away with this quite comfortably, actually, which is quite surprising. The Bulls have not performed well, particularly in Ireland. I think they've won one of their last 6 against Irish opposition, something stupid like that. Like it's not great. I mean, they're beaten 29-14 against the Dragons in round 12, and they've only won once in their last 6 outside of South Africa this season on a trip to Benetton. So it's not looking good for the Bulls. I think obviously with a lot of break between the last URC games, so maybe they come back with a revitalized attitude, revitalized strategy. We'll have to see what happens. Ulster, however, have won all 3 of their last games against South African opposition this season, which doesn't bode well for the boys in blue. Yeah, and they've only lost once, I believe, to, let me just see quickly, I think it was Glasgow Warriors. So out of the first top 5 in the table, they've only lost to Glasgow Warriors this season. So going on those stats, a betting man would say you should be putting quite a decent amount of money on Ulster, and I think that's probably still a good bet. Obviously, we all hope the Bulls come through, and let's see what they've got today, boys. Let's enjoy it. Let's see what they've got. Let's see what they've got in the tank. And yeah, I think let's see here. The Bulls faced Irish opposition on 7 previous occasions, 6 of those going with home field advantage, except for their 27-26 victory over Leinster in Dublin in last season's semi-final. So again, not great in Ireland. However, of course, going against that, the last time that they met Ulster was in Pretoria last April, with the Bulls coming away with 34-16 win. Again, a bit of a weaker Ulster side that time around. Yeah, I think my money's going on the Bulls. If anyone in the chat has a different idea to me, thinks I'm talking absolute hogwash, please let me know. You know, I'm a fan just like everyone else, and I could just be wrong. As I was, the Lions game that happened this past couple of hours ago, actually covered by Mark from the team, 32-28 to a Benetton side that they should have been beating comfortably, but nonetheless they pulled through. They've won that game. It does wonders for their numbers. In fact, it brings them up to 11th, sitting on 38 points on the URC table. They're now only 1 point behind Cardiff, and closing in on Benetton as well, who are on 40. And then the Sharks are only just above them in 41 points. And the Bulls on 43. So, to be honest, the Lions are really not that far behind the other unions, especially if the Bulls don't win today, then they're not that far off. So maybe we've been a little bit too harsh on them, to be very honest. And you know, they maybe deserve a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. So as we check in on the live stream of the game, and obviously if you are keen on seeing the game, you maybe don't have quite the normal facilities to watch it on, please check link in the description and also in the chat if you're looking for a way in which to watch the game with us. And obviously, please, if you do manage to watch the game, tune in rather to our commentary. We do this for all of our games if we can, and we definitely have a growing team of guys covering all of our games, and all very knowledgeable. So join us. I'm not going to say I'm one of them, but I'm trying. Anyhow, so as we look here, we see the starting lineups announced and the build up to the game. I'm really excited to see Canan Moodie back. I think he's such a talent. He's just got the right build. It looks like he has the right temperament. He knows when not to be too flashy, and he knows just when to turn it on as well. Chris Smith, for me, has been a revelation. Maybe not to some others, especially Bull supporters who know his quality throughout, but he's really been putting on a show lately. In fact, he's actually probably one of the URC's top performing players at the moment. I think he's kicked about 103 points this season alone, and he's definitely deserving of his spot. And as we see here, I believe, yeah, we see the Bulls are already on the field. Ulster make their way out with our captain, the Boykie, Dwayne Vermeulen leading them out as usual. Dwayne just doesn't seem to age. He looks exactly the same as he did, 10, 15 years ago already. It's great to see him still playing. It's great to see him leading this Ulster side and doing really well. He is the incumbents Springbok 8, and to be honest, I don't see anyone replacing him anytime soon. And I think he's really, really well deserving of his spot. So to correct my previous stats, Chris Smith has had 107 points this season. He was a huge part of Ulster's loss to the Bulls last time out. And we'll see if he can replicate that today. Last time he kicked 2 penalties, 2 conversions, and really puts the Bulls in a good position against them. As we look towards kickoff here, the Bulls kicking off towards Ulster. Very exciting. Can't wait. Let's get it going. I wonder here if the Chris will go long. Drop it in deep. And Chris does go long, kicks it deep into Ulster territory, right just above the 22. Some contact taken in there, just outside of the 22, looks like, or might it still be called in, possibly. Oh, fumbled kick there. Okay, also recovered well. They've taken it just outside of the 22. Bulls looking quite ferocious on defense, to be honest, putting in some big hits early. Just as we settle into this game, Nathan Doak, I don't know how you say that, I'll just call him Doak, launches it up and under from the base of the ruck. Straight into Curtly Arendse into contact. Right up to the backs. Also there, Chris Smith drives it deep down into Ulster territory, just beyond the 22, called for a mark there. Take it quickly and boots it back right down the middle of the field. Suzanne looks back into Curtly Arendse. He's running up. He's beaten a few. Oh, looks like maybe a slight high tackle there. He's made some good yards there. A good 10 meters, I think. Cornel Hendricks. That's Caden Moody on the wing. Cuts back inside. He's making ground. He's cut through a few defenders there. Penalty awarded to Ulster for, it looks like obstruction there from the Bulls as Caden Moody cut back in. It looks like a couple of guys got in his way. Yeah, correctly so, definitely. A couple of guys just bystanding, not trying to get in the way. Unfortunately, there's unintentional obstruction there. Also take their penalty. It looks like they've made it just over to the 22 there. Great kick. A little bit of a chance to build up some pressure. You take advantage of their set piece. Front ball there. Straight out to the backs. Shifted on there from fly half. A little bit of crash ball there. And again shifted out. A little bit of space out wide. Oh, it's 1-on-2. It's a fantastic try there by Rob Balukone. It is sublime rugby. Honestly, truly, truly fantastic. 2 phases off the line out there. It's just fantastic. I mean, wow. Just very classic rugby there. A little bit of a shift on. Oh, I mean, it's simple. There's one dummy runner, a little bit of ball out. He's just made it onto the outside shoulder there as Mike Lowry, and then shifted it onto Rob Balukone, who's got no one in front of him. Curtly Arendse had committed to Mike Lowry on the inside, and it's 5-0 down, 3 minutes in, boys. I don't know what to make of this. Let's hope this is not a sign of things to come, because the Bulls are going to be in for a hell of a long night. Guys, if you are streamed in and you are watching, please come take a look and come have a chat. Let me know what you guys think in the description um, and in the chat there, and just let's have a chat. Let's talk about it. I know it's late on a Saturday, probably better things to do. Might be having a drink, might be out with the fam, whatever you're doing. Just let me know. Love to see how your weekends are going. As you see, Billy Burns lined it up from right on the edge of the touchline there. Great connection. Uh, Luckily enough, he's missed that one, but it wasn't far off, honestly. Not good news for the Bulls here. Really, not a great start, unfortunately. It just looks like they're maybe a little bit unprepared for the pace that Ulster brought in. And as you see over the restart here, back into Bulls territory. Bulls have it here. Yeah. So, sorry, boys, we're just back there. I just had a little bit of technical difficulties. So as you see, the Bulls are shifting it along. There seems to be a bit of a 1-2 um, strategy right here. Just one off to the forwards, a bit of a crash ball, and then one off to the backs. It hasn't made too much progress just yet. As we see, they're forced to kick back into Ulster territory, just beyond the 10. Also look good. They look like they have great shape, a lot of width that they're displaying, a lot of runners out here as they go straight through the middle with the forwards. Couple of yards made there, some good offloads. Oh, there's a loose pass. It's a loose pass, and we see here who's that over there. Bulls have jumped on it, but Ulster managed to recover well. Ulster just building up again. It's a little bit of crash ball, nothing too fancy. We'll see if there's a Billy Burns with the dummy off the base of the ruck. Is that a stolen ball? And it is. That is fantastic work there. Let's see who gets up with it. Billy Burns just got caught there, unfortunately, a little bit isolated. Yep, and that looks like Zach Berger just got hold of Billy Burns there, so there's a bit of 9-on-9 action there. And we see that off the turnover penalty that's come in, Chris Smith has opted to go for poles. It looks like it's about 40 meters out, a little bit on the angle, but honestly, for a goal kicker of his ability, this should be light work, to be very honest. I like the new shot clock that we've got going here for penalties and conversions. It just speeds up play a little bit, puts a little bit of pressure on the kickers to get the ball back in play. Should be an easy kicker for Chris Smith.
From the tee in the URC this season so far, 107 points this to get him the Bulls off to.
Oh, he's just pushed it. He's just pushed it a little bit, unfortunately. So no points there for the Bulls, but much more promising on their end. You see here the commentators are also just having a little chat about Chris Smith's kicking ability and calling him metronomic. He's just got a fantastic ability to always get on the front foot. He's always got an ability to make those kicks in pressure situations. Zach Berger just shifts it out to Ruan Nokia. Ruan Nokia back in for Curtly Orenser. Oh, wow. What a break there by Zach Berger. Dummies right through the middle. Steps one. Oh, it's just a terrible offload, unfortunately. He's missed all of his run. He's missed all of his runners coming through there. Oh, and it's a bit of a knock on there. Oh, it's terrible. It's unfortunate when guys make a run like that, and they're unable to just get that offload off. It's not great. It feels like a bit of a waste of ball, and some opportunities. Sometimes you wish that they would slow things down. If you don't see a very clear option, just take the opportunity to take the contact, get down, set up another phase of play, and move on from there. Yaku Robertson in the chat there. Hi, Yaku. How are you? Let me know what you think of today's game. Do you think that the Bulls are going to pull one out the bag here? I personally think that Ulster are going to have it. I wish I could say otherwise. Proud South African. I really wish that all our South African teams could pull off the dub this weekend, but it's just not looking like it's going to happen. As you see a scrum penalty to Ulster, it looks like. Let's see who that was on that one in there. Yeah, it looks like I think it was Mornay Smith there on the Lucette side, just dropping the knee and conceding the penalty in that scrum in a very precious situation. So not only have we now had a knock-on after a great break in Ulster's 22, but it's followed up by a terrible scrum. So at least if you set up a good scrum, put them under pressure, even if they get the ball out, they're obviously getting that possession right back into Bulls' hands if they kick it back out. Yaki's got some scores there for Rugby Championship, not quite the same competition, but let's have a look at it anyway. Springbok 37, All Blacks 17, Rugby Champion. That's quite a scoreline there, Yaku. 20 points is a good margin to beat the New Zealand All Blacks on any given day. I'm not entirely sure it'll happen, but here's holding fingers, bud. So we see off that line now that a penalty that was the kick, they've got possession again. They're working their way up slowly. I will say that the Bulls' defense does look very good. But Ulster just looking very classy at the moment. The forwards are shifting it on very nicely, just shifting the contact point so it doesn't become too predictable. And the forwards are always hitting it up. So every time that the Bulls get used to it, they're shifting it behind them. A couple of dummy runners looking very, very sharp. Up and under there, Canon Moody takes it cleanly. Zach Berger out to the forwards. Some good meters made there. Shifted out to the backs. Got a half break here from Harold Foster. Harold Foster gets dragged down by the neck. Back of his jersey just pulled down. Instantly the hand goes out by the referee for the long arm penalty. Play continues though with advantage as they work their way up towards the 22. Zach Berger shifts it out again to the backs. It's gone out there. A little bit of crash ball in the middle by the forwards. And again, Cornel Hendricks with a little half gap gets taken down though. Still about 5 meters out. Caden Moody on the wing gets a sharp ball from Zach Berger. Made his way now 5 meters into the 22. Let's see if they've got the patience to take it over here. A couple more crash balls in the middle there. Remember, we're still playing under penalty advantage here. Yeah. And unfortunately, it looks like the play has broken down and they go back for the penalty, which is quite some way away. We'll see if the ref takes another look at it. It wasn't a very pretty grab. I'm not sure which Ulster player had grabbed onto the back of Harold Foster there, but pretty much just gripped him by the back of the neck and just yanked him back. Wasn't pretty. Can create quite a serious whiplash. I don't know if it warrants a yellow. Probably not. And it looks like Chris Smith might have another shot at goal here. See one of the Ulster players that just seems to have injured himself, so a little bit of a break in play here. apologies if my stream is slightly behind. Utilizing the services of DSTV now. So their broadcast is a little bit behind and sometimes a little bit laggy. So if you are watching on another platform, maybe just have a pause and bring it back so that you're in time with our commentary. Great for me, and yeah, looking pretty confident, looking strong. So we wait now for this injury break. Looks like Chris Smith will be taking a shot at goal. Again, he's just beyond the 10, so he must be about 38 meters out or so. Let's see if he can nail this one. As we wait to see if Chris Smith lays us through, we've got some comments coming through there from Budge. It says Springboks would never beat the All Blacks by 20 points. All Blacks are way better. Yeah, well, Budge, I'm not entirely sure about that, buddy. I do think that they're well on par, and I think that in any given day, either the Springboks or All Blacks could definitely beat each other. I think that 20-point margin, though, is not something that's going to happen anytime soon. Springboks can't even beat Ireland, to be fair, but no one can beat Ireland right now. They are number one in the world for a reason. So Chris Smith does land that penalty as we get back to the restart here. Nice and deep. As they set up here, they just wait. They're taking it into contact. Let's see what they do. There probably is a classic box kick by Zach Berger there. Just launched it up. Let's see if there's anyone contesting. Oh, it's a bit of a fumble everyone there, but it looks like it's come off a Bull's hand into touch. No, it's actually come off an Ulster hand. And so Bulls have the ball halfway between the 22 and the 10. It's a deep ball. Ronick here takes it very cleanly. They set up the false little bit of crash ball. Zach Berg with the up and under. Looks like Kanan Moody chasing. David Creel, sorry. Back into Ulster hands, who have regathered that from that high kick. Zach Berg again with an up and under. Seems like a battle of the nines at the moment. Both with a lot of kicking. It seems to be working out for both teams. He seems to be getting a lot of joy from it. Zach Berg again, Bulls have retaken that. Just setting up once again. A little bit of crash ball. Maybe a little bit predictable, to be very honest. Zach Berg again looks like another up and under. This is obviously something that they've talked about in the change room. It's come off well, though. As we see that it's bounced off an Ulster player. It's bounced back into Bulls territory. And Curtly Aronson, broken play, is very dangerous. And he hands off one, hands off two. He's broken straight through the middle. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, he just doesn't quite get the release to Ruan Akia, who's following up on his inside. And, oh, wow. Bit of a dodgy call here. Looks like Cornel Hendrick had placed that back after taking some contact. And the referee's calling a bit of a knock-on from one of the Bulls players. But Curtly Aronson is lightning. I mean, beats one, hands off another, straight between two, almost beats another before he hands off to Cornel Hendricks. So it's a pity. It does look like it did come off a Bulls player, unfortunately. But again, it's another example of just how good the Bulls are individually. And they're creating those chances for each other outside, but not quite able to string the plays together, show a bit of patience, and just not expect to score off every single counter attack. Understand, you've made 30, 40 meters. There's absolutely no need to score for that play. See again one of the Ulster players down. Again, Rob Balacone, he's looks a little bit uncomfortable. He seems to have lost the contact, perhaps. So again, we sit with this another break in play, and what has been a bit of a fractured game, to be very honest with you. I wonder who's going to come out on top here. 5-3 is 17 minutes in. It's probably, I think the Bulls will probably take this. They're not too happy with the way they're playing, I'm sure. Ulster would have been very happy with the start that they had and the composure that they were showing. It hasn't quite translated into consistency just yet, and this game is fractured at the moment. So we see an Ulster scrum on their own 22. Let's see how they plan to exit again, and if the Bulls can stop themselves from conceding another long-on penalty. I'm going to feed into the scrum here. Yeah. Look, I've got some questions as we see Zach Berger take it out from the base. It's not kicked out. It's sent out. Middle of the... Oh, wow. Okay. Sent out to the center there. He's just hacked it through. Curtly Orense collects. Caden Moody with a little chip and chase. He's collected it again. He sent it out to Curtly Orense. Can he get there? He's straight through. Oh, it's a brilliant try. It is fantastic work there by the backs, who are honestly living up to their names right now. Curtly Orense just sets up Caden Moody. Caden Moody with a little chip over the top in the middle of the field, collects it himself, passes it straight back onto Curtly Orense. They did it all themselves. I mean, they didn't need the rest of their team. It's like they're playing sevens rugby out there, honestly. Fantastic. Beautiful piece of work there. It's about 5-10 meters, to the side of those try posts. Caden Moody is such a talent. So good, and I'd love to hear what you guys think of him. Is he going to be the next Springbok incumbent for that fullback role? Or, to be honest, he could probably fit anywhere in that back line. Curtly Orense as well. We all know his talents. He's going to be around for a while as well. You see Chris Smith line up his conversion shot here with 30 seconds left on the shot clock. Great kick there by Chris Smith as the Bulls go 10-5 up after 20 minutes. A little bit unexpectedly. They haven't been playing quite as well as they should be for a scoreline like that. It really is a fantastic, I wouldn't call it individual try, it's a duo try, I would say, between two players. And maybe that's just what the Bulls need, a little bit of spark from a couple of individuals to set them on their way. As you see off the restart, the Bulls take it back into contact just outside of their own 22. Will it be a kick from the base of the ruck there by Zach Berger, or be shifted out to Chris Smith? It looks like they're... Yeah, and it is off the base of the ruck there by Zach Berger. Halfway, picked up by Ulster. Taken into contact there by Mike Lowry. Shifted out to the right. Oh, there's a wide ball coming out here. A little bit of kick through. It's gone over the dead ball line. Looks like the TMO is just checking something out here. Let's have a look, see if Ulster did manage to ground it. So they had hacked it through. Looks like Curtly Orense had possibly just got in there in time to knock it out into play. A little bit of kick through, awkward bounce. Curtly Orense picks it up. Okay, looks like he was tackled. Curtly Orense was tackled as he was trying to get the ball. Kind of shoved at the back there. So to be honest, if anything, it should be a penalty to the Bulls for an off-the-ball play. Are they perhaps looking at more? All right, so as per the new rules, of course, when it goes into the dead ball zone and it's knocked out by a player whose dead ball zone it is, it's now what we call it a try line kick out. Chris Smith launches one up towards his own 22. Oh, great contest there by Canon Moody. It's bounced back towards the Bulls. Curtly Arndt picks it up again. He steps one, steps two, take it into contact eventually. Oh, and it's shifted out. It's a loose pass there from Zach Berger, but let's see, a long arm penalty to the Bulls on the 22. Not entirely sure where it was for. We'll check in a second. Yeah, again, the Canon Moody, Curtly Arndt show once more. They seem to be the only ones at the moment who are really igniting anything on the field, showing a bit of class, a bit of determination. So the long on penalty is kicked out towards the Bulls 10 as they set up now for the line-out. If you go back to the comments here, see there, Butch says, number one team who hasn't won any World Cups, complete joke of a team, Ireland. Sure. Yeah, I mean, look, there was a time when nobody had won a World Cup, and I think that it's probably a little bit harsh on them to call them a joke of a team. Even England has won a World Cup, but Ireland haven't even got to a semi-total joke of a team. Yeah. Look, perhaps their performance in World Cups has not been up to the standard that it should be. But I think that this might just be the year that all changes. We'll see something different. I think France as well, if you check back on our previous streams, definitely someone to look forward to. I think between the two of them, they probably present the biggest challenge from the Northern Hemisphere. You can never write off ourselves being the box, and you can never write off New Zealand either. And quite honestly, Australia do very well in World Cups as well. Seem to always get there or thereabouts, and so let's not write them off. I think that this year's World Cup might just be the most competitive one ever. And if anyone believes they know the exact outcome or results of this World Cup, I think that they're fooling themselves. So as we return back to the game, there's a bit of a break in play, but it looks like a reversal in penalty here. I don't know how the Bulls managed to do that, but as we see here that Ulster have taken a penalty on the Bulls 22, kicked it out from that close. That should be right in the corner, but he's missed it by a couple of meters, so they're about 10 out from the Bulls try line. Ulster's throw into the line out. Let's see if they go forward, perhaps try the maul, and they do go front ball, set up the maul. Looking forward to some Bulls defense. There's no initial momentum for Ulster. Let's see, it looks like they might be getting their first user call soon. No, but they've got a little bit of momentum, shifted it a bit to the side. Bulls are scrambling a little bit. 5 meters out now. The maul's still going. Bulls have not yet conceded. Oh, there we go. And there it looks like the Bulls have managed to actually concede now. The maul's still going, however, and the Bulls have given into the fact that they've conceded this penalty and just throwing their hands all over it. But it's now shifted out to the backs. We've made some good yards there, one-off runner. Now 2 meters out. Some good Bulls defense. We're still playing under advantage. Great pickup there. Let's see who that prop was. It was Jeff Tumaga Allen, actually, who made a great pickup there from his scrum half, Burns. And again, more picks, more carries. Right in line with the post now. Not looking good here for the Bulls. Oh, stretching. Is that over the line? No. Ref's immediate call is held up. And so they return back for the penalty. Looks like Dwayne's busted his nose a little bit. Some blood coming out. I'm sure that doesn't bother him. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time. So the Ulster have a penalty, long on penalty. Call it about 10 meters from the sideline there. It looks like they're going to kick it back out. It's a touch. Maybe set up another maul, which seems to have quite a lot of success. I'm sure Dwayne's been guiding them on how to construct a proper South African maul. And then it's front maul, straight up into the maul. It looks very well set up. Oh, there's a couple of Bulls players sliding around the side there. They just need it. Oh, and again, they've conceded the penalty. It's very, very unfortunate. Bulls need to be a bit careful here. It looks like, has this gone over the line? It's a breakaway off the back. And again, the long on penalty is conceded, and it looks like Bulls will be called over. Ruan Nakia will be called over for an official warning. It's just too many penalties given away that close to the line. And I believe that the next one that they concede is definitely going to be a yellow card. So they need to be very careful here. We'll see. I'm sure Ulster will be going straight back into kicking into touch, set up another ball, see if they can't get the yellow card and a try. And it's front ball again, right back into the maul as expected. Why do anything different when you're getting results from it? Oh, and the balls are wheeling a bit. Oh, no. And there we go. That's it. There's the try. Yep, as we see here, we've got Tom Stewart, burst breaks off the back. It's quite easy, and they just managed to wheel the balls a little bit. And from there was just no one in front of Tom Stewart. Just taking that right off the back. Clinical play. Clinical. And we are 10-all, 25 minutes in. See if they can convert this. And they have managed to convert that. Just caught my stream up a little bit. So 12-10 to Ulster with a fantastic conversion from the sidelines there. Billy Burns doing the work. As you see, Chris Smith preparing for kickoff again. It is high, sky high. It is a great take there by Ulster. Lifted their man high into the sky. Immediately, quick ball out to the backs. Rob there on the wing takes contact. They work their way back in field again. A couple of set plays there. Oh, it's a bit of a knock-on, unfortunately for them. Bit of a hard pass there from their scrummy, Nathan Dirk. And it's back out to the Bulls. Curtly Arnser shifts. Oh, and it's a loose pass. It's gone right between Harold Forster there and David Creel. Bit of a pity. That was looking like a very promising attack. Also throw to the line out on their own 10. Oh, disrupted there. Bulls have won that line out. Turned it over. Quick attacking ball here. Chris Smith over to Harold Forster. Harold Forster to Cornel Hendricks. Over to Curtly Arnser. Oh, he makes a couple of yards there. Shifted back out to the forwards. You set up another phase of play. Yep. Yeah, he shifts it back out to the open side again. Again to the open side. Chris Smith, again right into the forwards, utilizing it as a bit of a battering ram, gain a couple of meters. That's Ruan Nakia back into contact, makes his way into the 22. There's another crash ball there. Chris Smith yet again laying it off for a forward, another crash ball. And another bit of one-off running by the Bulls here. Let's see if they come up with something different. Oh, Chris Smith solves everyone with a little bit of a dummy. Changes direction to the blind side into Curtly Arnser, who just nudges it through there for Kanan Moody to chase, but it's picked up by Ulster. And Kanan Moody just tackles. Let me see who that was. Yeah, looks like he tackles Jacob Stockdale just over the dead ball line and tackles him out. So it should set up a good attacking opportunity here for the Bulls. Again, the Curtly Arnser, Kanan Moody show. I mean, the two of them are so in sync at the moment. So this would be a Bulls 5-meter scrum here. the entire open side to work with. You have to predict here that they will definitely be going straight out to the backs, get it into the hands of Caden Moody, Curtly Orenser, even Cornell Hendricks, and make use of the space out there. Bulls feed into the scrum. Looks pretty solid. Balls come out. Zach Berger. Oh, crash ball there by Harold Forster, but he's met well. Still a couple of meters out here. Showing some patience, bit of crash ball. Again, another crash ball as everyone filters through to the open side. Let's see if they get the overlap. Looks like they're playing under advantage here. Cornell Hendricks beats one, but is met. Unable to shift it out to Curly Orenser on his outside there. Some good meters made here. Oh, man. Oh, they're fighting to get over this line here. Again, still 5 meters out. Cornell Hendricks by himself there. Still fighting, still 5 meters out, still working. And they're very, very close here. Looks like Kyle Brink has a go at it. Oh, there's a pick up and go. Another pickup, very hard to see. Bodies everywhere. Marco Verstappen has a go. Also, stop short. Another go here. Oh, they're digging it out of this ruck at the moment. Let's see it. Oh, and Zach Berger, of course, with the little dummy. Half beats one, but that's more than enough just to get over the line. And that's fantastic work there. A lot of patience shown. It's what they should have done earlier, to be very honest. Fantastic try there for the Bulls. 15-12 with the conversion to come, which should be a formality. It's not far wide of the posts. As we check back towards our comments, react to rugby speed. Yeah, just reminding about that New Zealand did lose a series to Ireland in New Zealand, I believe. So, yeah, some questions to be asked about Budge's reluctance to believe in Ireland's World Cup hopes. As I said before, I really, really do believe that they have the ability to come out on top, and that their world number 1 ranking is not a fluke. And of course, Chris Smith nails the conversion. Makes it 17-12. A fascinating game of rugby at the moment. I think the Bulls will be very happy with the way they've composed themselves. It wasn't looking too great in the beginning, a little bit scrappy by them. I think if they can head into half time, which is in, what's it now, 6 minutes, they would be very happy with the 17-12 scoreline. So you see Ulster kick off again. Right back into the hands there. Let's see who that was. Can't really see too well. Looks like Ruan for Mark just carries it just outside of the 22 there. Zach Berger again with the up and under. He's been laying those in contestable areas all day so far, and you should be very, very happy with that. And yeah, recollected once again. Well done to Zach Berger there. Kicks it deep into Ulster territory. They run it up a little bit, kick it back into Bulls territory. Oh, and it's a fantastic kick. My goodness. There must have been a 60-meter kick there. I think that was. Let's just see here. Yeah, Jacob Stockdale launches a monster, absolute monster, downfield over Curtly Orenser's head, deep into the 22. That lands just inside and then out again. Oh, wow. It is pinpoint. And so Ulster get throw, rewarded for a very good kick. deep into Bulls territory here. I'm sure they're going to go for the maul again. And remember that the Bulls have been warned here. See a quick break off there by the hooker. And oh dear, it looks like the Bulls have conceded again, close to the line, holding on at the base of that ruck. They need to be very careful. They're already on a warning, although it seems to be for the more indiscretions. And no surprise here, Ulster kicking for the line again, probably hoping to set up another maul. And again, just grind down the Bulls, earn that penalty, possibly get a yellow card out of it and a try. Yeah, it looks like Ruan Akia just went in on Nathan Doak there a little bit too early and then held on. And again, the more set up, middle of the line out. Tom Stewart at the back. Oh, and the ball's popped out. Oh, they've made a huge mistake here. Oh, it looks like just in passing it through, trying to get the ball back towards Tom Stewart at the back, they've just managed to, it's just popped out of the ball out of nowhere. So a knock on there by Ulster. The Bulls survive another attack, and they'll be thrilled with that. What a result! And so they get the put into the scrum. I'll be hoping to punt this way downfield, far away from them, and see out the end of this half. See Frank Clark here in the comments saying SAFA teams have added greatly to what was previously an uncompetitive URC. Went against Irish club teams in Europe in the past. Yeah, I mean, I know that the Europeans themselves weren't too happy about our inclusion into the competition, but from a viewership financial point of view for them and for us, I think this has been a huge success. And as we can see, barring the Stormers, and obviously last season was a bit of a shock to the system for the Northern Hemisphere teams. As you see, the Bulls put the feet into the scrum, and they've earned themselves a scrum penalty. Fantastic work there. It looks like Ulster seems to have just pulled out a little bit, expecting the Bulls to get that ball out quickly and punt it. And so they pulled out, and the Bulls just kept going with their scrum, and they seem to have popped out a little bit and earned that penalty, which is great work by the front row there. So just talking a little bit about the SAFA's influence in the URC, I'd love to get the perspective of a Northern Hemisphere supporter as to how they feel now, almost 2 seasons in. The first season definitely was a bit of a shock to the system, I'd say, for the Northern Hemisphere teams, who may not have been expecting such a strong showing by all the teams. And so this year you can see they maybe have got their number a little bit in that it's a lot more competitive. Our teams are sitting not all at the top as they were previously. And so we see after the penalty is taken and kicked out, the Bulls set up a maul pretty much in the middle of the field, making some yards here. Numbers joining the maul. Ulster players swimming around there a little bit. They don't look very connected. I'm not entirely sure how Bulls haven't got this penalty yet. Eventually it shifted onto Canan Moody on the wing. It cuts back inside. Again, a couple of crash balls there. Again, a couple more crash balls there. No, and the Ulster players have seen what they thought was a loose ball in that ruck, which wasn't quite the case. So it looks like they've given away a penalty back where the maul was going. So as I said, you have 15 seconds to go in this half. Looks like Chris Smith will be taking a shot at goal again. Looks like he's got another 45-meter kick on his hands. I'd back him all the way here. Chris Smith with his very uncomplicated setup for his kicks. Obviously see a bit of influence here of Monet staying on his game for sure. And he nails it, absolutely nails it. So, yeah, guys, as we head into this 2012 to the Bulls, maybe a bit of an unexpected result, to be very honest with you. Very happy for the Bulls. And it looks like they're clinical. And this is quite a game of rugby for the pure rugby fan. This is two teams who clearly have a strategy in place, and they're both coming right to some extent. And I think that we're gonna see a fantastic second half here. I expect a lot of points, and I expect it to still be very tight. But yeah, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back very, very soon. Join us again. And welcome back to the Forever Sports coverage of the Bulls v Ulster as we go straight back into the action with Ulster on their kickoff. It's a nice deep kick there, collected by what looks like Ruan Nokia. And so a fantastic first half by the Bulls there. See Zach Berger, looks like he's going for another base of the ruck kick there. And it looks like the Bulls were offside. Wow. Okay, so they go all the way back to the point of the kick. And an Ulster penalty, which they're going to kick directly out its touch again. Once more go with that rolling maul, which has had so much success for them. A great half by the Bulls. Unfortunately, they've started this one not so great, and they might even concede here, which is not fantastic. False start there by Ulster. Looks like a bit of a dummy there by the Ulster hooker. Tom Stewart it's been let go, and they're allowed to retake it. Tom Stewart goes to the front, not unexpectedly. The rolling maul continues. Looks like a bit of a better set-up defense there by the Bulls. Seem to have held it a bit off. It looks like they've managed to come through the middle. Have they? It looks like they have. Bulls have managed to get their hands on that. Are they going to be able to stop it from coming out? It looks like, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to. Oh, no. And it looks like we've got a penalty against the Bulls again. Oh, and the yellow cards come out. Oh, no. How did they manage to mess this up? It's a disaster. It is an absolute disaster. I'm not too sure who went off there. I'll confirm with you in a second. Ulrich Lowe. Ulrich Lowe's gone off, and that's a huge loss for the Bulls. Another setup for the lineup from the penalty that came from that. 5 meters out, straight back into rolling maul for Ulster. See if they get it to Tom Stewart at the back. They do. They're going to be able to show the patience and the guile to get over the line here, making a few inches. Push back initially, and now just made it over the 5 meter line. Oh, they're making more inches. And Tom Stewart has rolled over for a fantastic rolling maul try again. From this Ulster side, who are clearly playing to their strengths. So a terrible start to this half by the Bulls. We have conceded now within the first 3 minutes, as they did in the first half. Shocking. And when you've got two teams of quality like this, especially this Ulster outfit, you just can't give them anything. And unfortunately, the Bulls haven't managed to hang on and display a bit of patience. And a team like as good as Ulster is going to take advantage of every little slip up that you make. And now with 10 men down, and within a minute of that man being gone, they've scored. It's just looking a bit dire for the Bulls at the moment. See if they can hold out, get their full 15 complement back on the field, and go from there. So returning to the comments that were way there, I see Frank Clark again. He's a Connacht supporter, and he knows a lot of Irish URC supporters agree with him. He's referring to the inclusion of SAFA teams, making the URC competitive once again. Yeah, look, it's good to hear. I'm glad that that's the sentiment coming out, at least from some of the camps. A relationship like this, as we see there, Burns just bangs over another conversion from the sidelines. So only 1 point in it now, with the Bulls up by 20-19. I feel that a relationship obviously goes both ways. So it can't just be a benefit to us, it needs to be a benefit to all the teams. And I personally think that it can only benefit Northern Hemisphere teams to face stronger and more diverse opposition who've got different styles. And as we see, obviously Ireland are number 1 in the world at the moment, and rightly so. And perhaps I don't want to credit it to SAFA's inclusion in URC or anything like that, but I think it's maybe played a part, certainly, that they look at their rugby a little bit differently. So if the kickoff is kicked back by Ulster, once again deep into Bulls territory, who are now just inside of their halfway line. Bulls resorting once again to a bit of one-off running with their forwards, trying to make a few meters here. Ruan Okia has been stuck in place. He's actually gone backwards 3 meters. And Ulster have pounced on it. Very competitive ruck there. It's still popped out for the Bulls somehow, but they're going back a couple of meters. They've lost about 20 meters here. Oh my goodness, Marco van Staden absolutely steamrolls one of the Ulster props there. I think Andrew Warwick. And in the ensuing ruck, the Bulls have won the penalty there. Oh, jeez, what a bump off. Marco van Staden taking no prisoners there. To Andrew Warwick's credit, he got up pretty quickly. Chris Smith will be hoping to put this deep into Ulster territory. And it's a great kick. It's just halfway between the 22 and the 10. Not an easy one from the middle of the field. So Bulls need to show a bit of patience here. Taking a slow walk up to this line out. Just trying to slow things down, gain their composure after that rapid start. It's gone front ball, cleanly taken by Ruan Okia, straight into the maul once again, which has been employed by both teams to quite some effect. Johan Krobler at the back. Penalty advantage to the Bulls. Taken into contact there by Harold Forster. Quick ball out. A little bit of a cross kick out there. Oh, it was almost taken by Caden Moody, and he was also having Mike Lowry running straight at him, so maybe under a little bit of pressure there. Caden Moody is such a talent, and I heard Nick Mallet and Schalk Burger chatting at half time, just about agreeing with what I saw in that first half, is that the impetus has really come for the Bulls from Curtly Orenser and Caden Moody. Without them, I'm not entirely sure that the Bulls will be in the position they are in right now. Chris Smith, they go back for that penalty advantage. Chris Smith is hoping to knock this right into the corner here. Yeah, it looks like a decent kick just outside of the 5-meter line for Ulster. I would not be surprised to see them resort to that maul once again. Although they are a man down, so they are short a bit of manpower. Middle ball to Ruan Okia once again with his sturdy hands. The man never seems to miss. Marcus Lasana breaks off very quickly, maybe hoping to catch Ulster unaware. Zach Berger, forward ball. I'm sure we'll see quite a lot of this, especially being the man down. Ruan Okia straight into contact again, just outside of the 5-meter line. Another crash ball into contact. Another crash ball into contact. Forwards are getting through some serious work here at the moment, but not making much in terms of meters. Zach Berger again, shifting it out. They've made a couple here. They're just inside of the 5-meter line. Working their way up, showing some patience here. Yeah, big boys doing some work up front, pick and goes. Oh, and again, Marco van Staden making himself a nuisance there around the fringes of that ruck. Ulster holding up ball though, not letting much through here. Must be closing in on 20 phases here at least. Another pick and go around the fringes. Marco van Staden once again. Again, he's met by about two Ulster defenders who have just held them in place. Another pick and go, driven back. This Ulster defense is putting in some serious work here, not conceding any penalties. And again, there's a bit of a flowing overlap around here. Zach Berger just picks up for the next forward to turn the corner. You wonder when they'll decide to give the backs a chance here. Quick ball out, Cornel Hendricks. Oh, he's well leg tackled there. Hasn't managed to beat him, and unfortunately that leg tackle has propelled him forward. and left him quite isolated, and he's immediately covered there. I think it was, Nick Timoni, actually. Yeah, after the leg tackle, Nick Timoni is all over him there. Grabs the ball in the contact, and that's unfortunately a penalty to Ulster. So it's seriously hard work going in there by the Bulls and not getting the reward, unfortunately. Looks like we've got an Ulster player down here. Might have been from that Cornell Hendricks tackle. I think it might have been Mike Lowry, as we see some changes to the Ulster front row. So we see O'Sullivan coming on, and I think it was also Sheridan. Yep, O'Sullivan on for Warwick there. See Auric Lowe also just keeping himself warm on the side, waiting to make his comeback, make up for that yellow card, and just get himself going again. And the player down is, in fact, Stuart Moore. Yeah, and he was the one who tackled Cornell Hendricks' leg tackle, and unfortunately his head just collided with what looked like to either be Cornell's knee or shin. Bit of a heavy blow. He should be okay, though. I think they're just checking him for concussion or cuts, possibly. Looks like he's okay, though. So Bulls, on a couple of occasions, have just relented in pressure situations where they're on the front foot and just haven't been able to put the hammer down. There's a couple of opportunities that have gone their way. I'd say about 3 where they should have scored, and haven't quite been able to put them away. And that's what keeps Ulster in this game, is their determination to stay. And so it looks like Moore has, in fact, got a little bit of a cut to the head, but they've bandaged him up. There might be a little bit of a debate going on about whether he needs to go off for a concussion test. And it looks like he will be sent off briefly. Ulster really showing why they're such a top, highly rated side, and why Ireland are at the top of their game at the moment as well on a national level. Penalty kick deep out. Actually, not a lot of meters made there. It is their ball, however, so we'll see that if the Bulls have been quite successful in disrupting this Ulster ball at line-out time. Let's see if they can do it again here. Give themselves another shot at the try line. And it's deep ball, and Ruanakia did go up for it, but he wasn't able to make it in time. It's straight into a maul in the middle of the field. Fantastic line out there by Ulster. Tom Stewart sets it back for his scrummy. Dode puts it back. It's come back for the Bulls. A bit of an awkward bounce, but they've recovered it nicely. Chris Smith, seen a bit of space at the back, launches it into the 22 for Ulster. Oh, it's a bit of a fumble. Is it going to affect him much? And that was Stockdale there. Launches it back down, though, however, into Bulls territory. Quite deep on. It's a fantastic kick. All of maybe perhaps 30, 35, maybe 40 meters there. Guys, if you are in the chat and you are around, please let me know what you think of the game so far. Tell me if I'm doing terribly, which I'm sure I am, but I will improve in time, I assure you. Late night here in South Africa. Beautiful night, a bit of rain today. All having a good time. Happy to be the weekend. Bulls thrown again, taken by Nokia. He must see he's taken everything tonight. I think he's been the only one, to be fair. They obviously trust him very much. Well defended here, though, by Ulster, who seem to have got their hands through the middle, but it's taken out in time. Cornell Hendricks with a bit of a crash ball there. Zach Berger again feeding it off to one-off runners, and I think that's really been a major problem for the Bulls. There's a bit of a lack of ingenuity on attack. Perhaps scared to throw it around in those conditions. I'm not entirely sure. See Zach Berger launches it up and under. Kana Moody absolutely smokes. I think it was Stockdale there. But the ball is recycled well. going through phases, dummy runner, and Ulster playing quickly here. You see Billy Burns just sends one down into the 22. He puts Curtly Arota under pressure. There's a bunch of Ulster players around Chris Smith there, who has no alternative, put onto his left foot, and he bolts it out just inside of his own 22. So a fantastic net result there for Ulster. Well, once again on the front foot, once again in Bulls territory. And it took them all of 2 phases to get there, where the Bulls seem to be working very hard to get into Ulster territory and not converting it into points. If you are new here, guys, drop us a like and a subscribe. We are covering all of the URC games as usual. We will be covering the World Cup later on in the year with some fantastic content coming your way. So definitely drop us a like, give us a subscribe. I promise we won't disappoint you. And also check out our other streams. We cover a range of sports, F1, some football, transfer news, everything that you could possibly imagine, we're definitely covering. Slight break in play here as Tom Stewart sets up to throw into the line out here. It's deep into Bulls territory. I'm sure once again they're going to set up this maul. Auriclo has returned onto the field. Bulls back to their 15, and again it's front ball. The maul's been set up. The Bulls with their initial pushback, and then they've wheeled around. They've broken off and allowed Ulster to regain momentum, and as they do, they get back into the 5-meter line of the Bulls. It's not looking good here. Not looking good at all. Nathan Doak getting quick ball out here. So there's a lot of space. Nathan Doak with a quick snipe. Brought down just short. Tom Stewart looks like he might be over. Pick and go off the side of the ruck. Yep, not entirely sure. Let's see what the refs call here. Looks like he hasn't. A little bit of a scuffle as they get up from that. Throwing for Mullen as usual in the middle of that, just telling his South African boykies, listen, this is not a fight you want to get involved in. We'll see what the refs call is. I don't think that looks like the on-field decision is not a try. Oh, and that's definitely a try. That's definitely a try. Fantastic angle. Tom Stewart got through 2 defenders down the side of that ruck and just turned over and seems to have just laid it down on the line. Blindsided. Fantastic reactions by him. He wasn't really even too sure how close and awareness. He wasn't even sure where he was in relation to the line, but he guessed well, put it down on the side of him, and that's a great try by Tom Stewart there. Oh, and the Bulls are in a precarious position here now. This is not good at all. $26-20 to Ulster now, who have had a fantastic second half so far. The Bulls have looked stuck in place. Chris Smith with a restart, deep into Ulster territory, right into the 22, middle of the field. Yeah, just not enough pressure there. Ambrose Vapier is on for Zach Berger. Maybe hoping to speed up the pace of play. Nathan Doak with it up and under from the base of the ruck. Oh, and everyone's steaming in there, and it looks like Ulster have recovered that from the up and under. Fantastic work there. They've shifted it out wide. There's a slight bit of an overlap. Stockdale with a little chip forward. Straight into Harold Forster's arms though. It has a little bit of a jink, makes a couple of yards. It's well played by him. Ambrose Papier with a little dart around the side of that ruck there, makes about a meter. Cornel Hendricks to take his place. Cornel shifts it out to some forwards. Ambrose Papier back in place once more. Looks like he's going for the up and under. Launches one up for Caden Moody to chase. Against Stockdale. Stockdale comes out on top. A fantastic grab there. Oh, now Markeford started competing for a ball on the ground, but he was too late on it. And so the penalty goes the other way to Ulster. Great take here by Stockdale. Not entirely sure how much he knew about it, to be honest. He wasn't really looking. You see Ulster's throw to the line out here after their penalty was taken. Tom Stewart again on the ball. Clever little line out there, a little inside ball back into the traffic where the line out was. Oh, so running some fantastic lines now. They're looking unstoppable. Making meters on every run now. Nathan Doak with an the penalty goes towards the Bulls. It looks like tackler not rolling away. Oh, coming in from the side was the call. Coming into the side of that ruck was the call. Chris Smith launches one downfield. Dwayne Vermeulen actually almost stopped that penalty kick from going out. Should have stopped it and then unfortunately just dropped it and knocked it on. So it looks like we're going to have a scrum here to the Bulls. 20 minutes to go here. Ambrose Papier with his first feed into the scrum. Yeah, Ambrose Papier is an interesting one. Obviously, was in the Bok plans not so long ago and seems to have fallen out of favour, not just at a national level, but of course at a domestic level as well. I'm sure he'd be keen to make an impact for the rest of the season and see if he can't work his way back up to a starting position. Both scrums have been working relatively well. I'd say Ulster probably had the slight upper hand with a couple of penalties going their way at scrum time. But some new players on the field for both teams maybe changes the outcome of the scrum. We know that it's usually quite messy when you guys are on the field. I know Gennaro is Sharks out of the tournament. The Sharks are not yet out of the tournament. Of course, they're still in with a great shot. It's currently sitting in 8th, along with a number of other teams. So they really need to pull up their socks and just make sure they secure themselves a playoff berth. So you see here the Bulls coming away with a crash ball with Cornel Hendricks here. Ambrose Papier, quick ball there into one of his forwards. Run from Mark, making a couple of meters. This is much better from the Bulls here. A bit of impetus on attack. Good Lawrence out on the wing. Couple of meters here again, not too much though. Crash ball again, setting up the next phase of play. Let's see how much patience they're willing to show here. Chris Smith setting up again, Ruan for Mark in the midfield for a crash ball. Just outside of the 22 now. It looks like they have managed to secure advantage for what seems to be offside. With the penalty advantage, we'll see how patient they are, unless they try something a bit different, maybe a little chip over the top. Caden Moody coming around the corner for Ambrose Papier. Oh, Conor Hendricks is just dropping behind him. A loose ball there from Chris Smith. And it looks like the penalty will be given. Unfortunately, after that drop ball, the advantage being played out there. So yeah, look, the Bulls really need this win. There's no doubt about it. They need to be in a position where they can go into the rest of this tournament having beaten one of the top sides and separate themselves from the pack a little bit. They are, as I said, currently sitting at 7th, with the Sharks just below them. The main difference being points difference between them and the Sharks. There's 2 points in it between them, with the Bulls are currently on 43 and the Sharks on 41. If the score were to, well, if the Ulster were to win, the Sharks don't secure a bonus point, of course the Bulls would remain slightly ahead of the Sharks, but only just. And it's going to be a hard slog for them to stay there. It means that they basically just can't be slipping up for the rest of the tournament, both the Sharks and the Bulls, and obviously they would both love to be in contention there. And to be very honest, the Lions would also be on par with the Bulls and the Sharks, having also all 3 teams would have won 8 if this result remains the same. The big difference being points difference, as well as a couple of bonus points. The Lions not having earned as much as the Bulls and the Sharks, and therefore a couple of points below them on 38. Yeah, it's not looking good for the local teams at the moment, barring the Stormers, who put in a very impressive showing against Leinster today. To be honest, I think most people were expecting them to have won that game, and unfortunately it didn't quite work out for them. But they'll take the draw, I'm sure of it. So we return to the action there. That penalty that was awarded to the Bulls has actually been taken and converted by Chris Smith. So they've closed the gap a little bit now, 26 points to 23. Carl Brink has been replaced by Steenkamp. With the restart, Ambrose Papier preparing for an up and under here. Once again, it seems to be a tactic that almost all scrum halves are employing these days. He launches it up in the air. It's bounced back into an Ulster hand. Right into midfield there. Doak, quick ball out to... Oh, a little chip through there. I'm not entirely sure by who. Just have a look quickly. By Stuart Moore, I believe. James Hume it was possibly. But anyway, it's back in the hands of the Bulls. Game slowed down a little bit. I think both teams are really not too sure where the breaks are going to come from. Ambrose Papier preparing for another up and under. This time a little bit deeper. No challenge, of course. It's just too far away from everyone. Back out there to Badakoni. He makes a couple of yards. Out towards the forwards. Setting up phase play in the middle of the field. And it looks like another up and under coming, this time from Nathan Doak for Ulster. And it looks like a good contestable kick. Taken cleanly there, however, by David Creel. and still somehow, but he knocks it on somehow in contact, and it's back into Ulster's hand again. So some stupid mistakes coming out from the Bulls. Really simple stuff that they should not be conceding. Bit of a loose pass by them, which is picked up. They'll go back for the advantage for the knock-on, I believe. See our lock tread was off. Yeah, and it just looks like a heavy clean out there by the Bulls, who knocked a little bit too far, and there was no one behind them. And so, David Creel on the ground obviously saw that all of his forwards had just gone straight over him and attempted to place the ball even further or even chuck it out to one of his teammates, and just knocked it out in the process on the ground there. A little bit of break in play here as we attend to a couple of injuries for both the Bulls and Ulster, it looks like. Currently Arons on the ground, which is not a good sign. He seems to be icing just above his knee there. Looks like a bit of maybe a quad knock. Doesn't possibly look too serious. Looks like maybe a bit of a dead leg. Still down. Let's hope this isn't more serious than it looks for Curtly Arons, who has a hell of a year ahead of him with the World Cup and with the Bulls. Been a pretty decent game for Billy Burns for Ulster at fly half. He's controlled the tempo well. He's made some really strategic decisions there. Left a lot of the kicking to Nathan Doak off the base of the rucks, and controlled his backline well. I think this has definitely been a forwards game for Ulster. They've not dominated, but they've been probably a bit more clinical than the Bulls have. And as you see, the scrum set up for that lock-on. The Ulster feed into the scrum. Nathan Doak's also had one hell of a game there at scrum half for Ulster as he feeds in here. And the one thing I hate about these scrums is that these feeds always seem to be so skew and it never gets called. It's very frustrating to me. It just kind of ruins the whole point of a scrum. If it's being chucked right under the feet of your prop, not even your hooker, it's really almost impossible to win that ball back cleanly in the manner that it's supposed to be. And so it seems that one of the Bulls players at that scrum may have put a hand on the ground there or had a slip, and the penalty's gone the way of Ulster. Billy Burns, again, the one thing that hasn't gone his way today is his kicking. He's had an opportunity to put a couple right deep into the corner in Bulls territory, and yet again he's come up a couple of meters short of where he probably would have liked it to be, but nevertheless he's still in a good position here. As they throw in here, it's a front foot ball. It's disrupted though by the Bulls, and it looks like the Bulls have come away with it for a skew throw there. Tom Stewart is first through. The Bulls have put a lot of pressure on this Ulster line out, and it's starting to show dividends now. Tom Stewart obviously a bit skrick. Seeing Ruan Okia go up there. Ruan Okia is a big boy, long levers, managing to get a hand onto that ball, and so he pushes it a bit wide and gets the skew throw. So Bulls get out a bit of a trouble there. They do need to get on the front foot with 13 minutes left in this game. They really need to get up into Ulster territory here. They feed into the scrum. They'll have to kick downfield and see if they can't recover it. So, guys, with the score being 26 points to 23 in favour of Ulster, 12 minutes to go. If you are still here in the chat and you'd like to let me know, where do you think this game is going? Do you think that the Bulls have the confidence and the ability to overturn this deficit and just edge in front of Ulster, or does it look like Ulster have got the upper hand? They did enough in the beginning of the second half to demoralise this Bulls side. Let me know. And instead of the kick, they've shifted it out wide to Caden Moody, who's booted it downfield. Oh, it's a great tackle there by Harold Forster, who it's loose ball. It's back into Bulls territory. This is exactly what they need. Oh, and it's a loose pass by Emrose Papia. He's absolutely thrown it away there. It's a loose pass. It's a shocker. It's resulted in a knock-on. This is turnover ball for Ulster, and one has to wonder that was definitely the opportunity. They were on the front foot there after receiving the ball back. Oh, and it's a shocker. Yeah, it's a terrible ball out to Harold Forster by Emrose Papia. Really unfortunate. They're not out of it yet. It is just 3 points, but it feels like Ulster have the upper hand. And it's just these small things, you know. I was saying earlier, just the difference between top tier sides is their ability to not make the small mistakes or to capitalize on the other team's small mistakes, things that another team just wouldn't be able to capitalize on. And Ulster have taken every chance that they've had today, and they haven't been a lot. The Bulls have actually been quite good in their defense. And it just shows that the class of this Ulster side, that they're able to pick apart those moments and take every single opportunity they've had. On the other side of that, the Bulls have had a number of opportunities, good ones, in fact, and made small errors, which have cost them this game so far. Knock-ons here and there, loose offloads, silly penalties here and there. Terrible passes being another one. I think they'll be kicking themselves if they lose this game, because they should be doing better. So it's an Ulster feed into the scrum, which has taken quite some time to set up. Scrum collapses before Nathan Doak even gets the ball into the scrum, and the penalty goes the way of Ulster. So again, another silly mistake there by the Bulls, who engage early, long before the ball's even in. It's really poor, and they've gone straight to ground as well. So penalty here by Billy Burns will be knocking it straight back down into Bulls territory, making them work just as hard to get it back to where they were. Unsurprisingly, this Ulster side's taking their time getting to this line out. Quick ball out there by Ulster, where they do get there eventually. Shifted on to Tom Stewart. Shifts it around for another forward, and they're making yards here. Good 20 yards from that line out with one play. Ball's being held up a little bit, but it does come out there from Nathan Doak, who shifts it on again. Tom Stewart is driven back slightly. Shifted out there. Billy Burns inside there for Stockdale. A couple of yards made again. Doak out again for Tom Stewart, who passes it on. Bit of a fumble. Oh dear. Yet again, the Bulls are called back for a penalty against them. We'll see what it's for. It looks like a high tackle. Is a high tackle. really poor there from Ron for Mark. It's an unnecessary high tackle in an attempt to hold up that Ulster player there. And this one, pretty much right in front of the poles, just outside of the 22. This should be a pretty easy kick here. One of the Ulster boys died again. It looks like Rob Balakone. Mark, if it started, appears to be leaving the field. I don't know if it's just for substitution, but it looks like he's possibly got a slight injury there. Bismarck du Plessis replaces Van Staden, which is slightly unusual. Obviously, if it started at flanker and Bismarck the classic cooker, so it'd be interesting to see where he sets up exactly. Nathan Doak lines this kick up here. And nails it. And not unexpectedly, it's now 73 minutes in, and again, Ulster capitalizing on all the small mistakes that the Bulls are making, not letting them breathe. And this half has just been a demolition job. In fact, with the Bulls only scoring 3 points in this half to Ulster's, I think it's his, what is that now? 12 points or so. Number of changes coming in here for the Bulls off the bench. Looks like we've got Simpiwe Matanzima, I should say. Yampa Swanepoel as well. North a restart deep into Ulster territory. Well collected though. Nathan Doak setting up again. Just using his forwards to gain a few meters. Set up for the kick, get them out of danger territory. Looks like he's setting up for the up and under once more, which has been such a weapon for both teams tonight. Yep, Nathan Doak's really had a game tonight. I'm not too sure who I would have as man of the match for today. Currently Arnson leaving the field for Stedman Hans. Not a good sign. He doesn't look too comfortable on that dead leg that he had earlier. This Bulls team has 6 minutes to pull it together. You know, it's now or never. All they need is one passage of play to turn around when it's been a really terrible half. Rolling more here for the Bulls. Bismarck du Plessis in his classic position at the back here. Taken out by Emre Pierre. Harold Foster takes it into contact, middle of the field, probably about 30-35 meters out. Crash ball around the corner, which has not been one of their great strengths tonight. They have not made many meters with their forwards. Simon Kuntz with this first of the ball. Oh, well contested on the ground there. It looks like they're coming back, though, for a penalty. It looks like in the Bulls' favour, all the way back towards where the rolling maul was. Yeah, and in the comments here, guys, we see Angelo Grella saying, can they get a converted try? Yeah, I mean, we can only hope. It's not been looking likely that the Bulls would score in this half. It's just been a tale of two halves. They just don't seem to have the composure to put together two halves of rugby at the moment. This thing could be said of all the South African sides at the moment, barring the Stormers, the Lions as well, unable earlier to put together two good halves. They didn't manage to come away with their win. It's maybe something that we as South African franchises need to look into. And the Irish at a national level have definitely been the greatest exponents of a consistent game. And it seems to be filtering down into their franchises as well. Their ability to the two halves of consistent rugby, no matter what their position is. They stick it to their game plans. They're not getting demoralized by the fact that they may be a few points behind, and perhaps their game plan didn't work to perfection in one half or another. They believe in it, they believe it will work, and you can see that coming to fruition here from Ulster. They haven't changed a lot from their first half gameplay, they've just perhaps executed a little bit better. Got a little break in play for an injury. Looks like to Billy Burns. Went in on a tackle on Harold Foster and then got cleaned out from the side here. Oh, yeah, it looks like he took a bit of a nasty one from Bismarck du Plessis. Oh, that's not pretty. It's backwards to Bismarck, and Bismarck clattered into what looks like his back. Looked like a fairly legal tackle. It seems that they might be taking a bit more of a look at it, though. See if Bismarck managed to wrap an arm. I think that might be a concern, but it looks to me like there might be a slight wrap there. They're taking a look at different angles here. Did he drive that shoulder into his back, though, is the question. Oh dear. There may even be a question of whether it was slightly high. Bismarck might be in some trouble here. Yeah, Bismarck's being called over. Yellow card. Wow. Wow. But yellow card for Bismarck du Plessis, who has just come onto the field. Wow. Yeah, we just hear the commentators here. Yeah. Also, the opinion, a very harsh call. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it was given for. It was not particularly high. There seems to have been a wrap of the arm. Yes, it was into his back, but it can't be helped. That's kind of just how it goes. Unfortunately, sometimes a guy's got his back to you, but you've got to take him out. So, yeah, maybe Bismarck's been done harshly there. And the reaction from Billy Burns was as if he'd been shot, and I think that didn't play in his favour, and the only reason they went back to look at it. And with that yellow card, now we see that penalty that ensues. We've got Tom Stewart off the back of a maul, has actually dropped it. It's back now into Bull's hands. Stedman Kunze goes out wide. Kenneth Moody up the middle there. Chucks it back in for Dan Creel. Clean out there. The Bulls are going to have to throw everything at it now. There's no point holding back with 4 minutes to play and a man down. They've really got nothing to lose. So give it a bit of width, chuck it around, see what happens. Only a converted try will do it. They throw it out a bit wide. It's gone backwards though. All right, and the Bulls are playing around in their own half a little bit here. We'll see if they chuck it out a bit wider. Chris Smith out to Harold Foster. Harold Foster takes a bit of contact, beats one or two. It's just not enough though. 3 minutes to play. It looks like their plan is to hold on to this ball and fight for every inch. Stedman Kunze throwing a little bit of pace at the ball, gets over the halfway line. Fantastic run from in there. Chris Smith again setting up into the middle of the park there. Still only around halfway, unfortunately. Because without Stedman Kunze out wide there. Again, just over halfway. You see Andrew in the comments just confirming what I felt as well. Football style diving / play acting creeping in for, yeah, it's to me that definitely was a bit of a play up on not a terribly, it wasn't, it's not a soft tackle. Definitely hard. It definitely would have hurt a little bit. But the way he acted is, it's really as if you've been choked out around the neck, and it just wasn't that. I'll have to go back and check the live commentary while we're there, and I'm sure the boys in studio at Supersport have a lot to say about it as well. But Bob Skinner certainly felt that there was nothing in that, and it may have just ruined the Bulls' chances here. They weren't playing particularly well, and we see here that Tom Stewart has been awarded man of the match. Ulster hooker, who, to be fair, I've said his name plenty tonight. He has been absolutely everywhere. 2 tries, he's a number of pick and carries off the back, some good line-out throws in general, and he's just been all over the park. So a well-deserved man of the match there for Tom Stewart. 2 minutes to go here for the Bulls to pull something out the hat. Unfortunately, Leinster have just got a penalty just before the halfway line, and now putting it back down to deep territory there for the Bulls, and I think that this might just be tickets here. Yeah, I see there in the comments there, didn't stay man saying Tom's around the hand, but attempted wrap. Ref's been shocking. Yeah, I think in a number of different instances, perhaps it's not been too bad, but that call definitely seems a bit dodgy to me, and its timing has pretty much put this game out of reach here for the Bulls. Some theatrics coming in for sure. I think Billy Burns is also a bit of a smaller guy, so it looks so much worse than it actually is. Maybe a bit of Bismarck Duplessis' reputation coming in there a little bit as well. As much as these refs try to keep their own bias out of it, I think that you see a big name like Bismarck Duplessis, and know his history for, let's say, illegal hits, but the occasional one that he gets wrong, and they found it a pretty easy card to give. Yep, and now with the penalty given right here for the post, again, I'm not entirely sure about this call either. With 45 minutes left on the clock, this is gonna wrap up the game, unfortunately. I will say, however, that I do think that Ulster deserved wins. I think that they've definitely shown a bit of class, composure. The Bulls have been lacking in parts. Perhaps a lot of positives to take here for the Bulls, that they can compete at this level with the guys right at the top, but they would have expected to make a better run of it, especially given that first half that they did have. Yep, splits up right. 80 minutes gone on the clock here. Yeah, and that will wrap up the game. So 32 points to 23 in favor of Ulster. A disappointing end for the Bulls there. Yeah, I want to blame a number of factors, but to be honest, I think the Bulls more or less brought this upon themselves here. A disappointing end to this game. Big props though to Curtly Orenser and to Caden Moody. It's a pity guys, but I'm sure that this Bulls team will be back. Wayne Vermeulen, as we see here in picture, saying how's it to the boys. I'm sure it always feels good for him. But cheers, gents. That will wrap up our coverage for today. Please check out our review after this game and join us for our Thursday weekly fan forum, where we talk in depth about all things good, bad, and ugly. And also, we'll have a chat about that that yellow card for sure. So